Greetings Team 88 and welcome to another edition of the Commandant's Corner. As you recall, last month's video blog topic was readiness and how we provide, enable, and support readiness for our entire customer base of the fleet, the fighter, and the family. Now I want to move on to my second focus area, which is stewardship. And just like readiness, there are several aspects to stewardship. It is our responsibility as government employees to be mindful of our resources, whether it's the money we spend in our operations, the equipment and facilities we own and maintain, the environment we impact, or the people who are doing the work. We're given broad authority to use all those things to accomplish our mission with varying degrees of oversight. In some cases, there are tight controls to prevent misuse and abuse or to catch errors. Often controls are limited to just policy or guidelines, and sometimes there's nothing to govern how we use our resources other than our own character and knowing what's right. But regardless of the control, we must act responsibly to use the least amount of resources required to successfully execute our mission. And this brings me to another aspect of stewardship. One of the most important things we can do for the Navy and the nation is to preserve the long-term viability of the resources under our charge, particularly the installations themselves and our operational ranges. It looks like DoD is likely to ask the Congress for another BRAC round in 2017. Now, I won't hazard a guess on the likelihood of whether or not we will close or realign more of our bases via BRAC or otherwise. But what I can say with certainty is that we aren't building any new installations. Neither are we likely to claim more public lands for new training ranges. So that means that what we have right now is what we will have for the foreseeable future, if not less, which is why stewardship of our resources is so important. Challenges to the long-term viability of our installations can come in many ways. First, encroachment can cause us to change how or where we operate. In the worst cases, eventually squeezing a base out of being able to do its mission. Think of a naval air station and noise complaints, or worse, aircraft mishaps that hurt the surrounding community. Second, environmental responsibility. Think how our ability to operate would be impacted if we didn't have effective oil spill prevention or response programs. How welcome would a U.S. Navy ship be in any port? And finally, energy. Without an effective energy management program, the rising cost of utilities and growing consumption means utilities will take over ever larger portions of our already scarce resources. Increasing our energy security isn't easy and it isn't sexy, so it doesn't necessarily resonate with people when you tell them to turn their lights off or to set their thermostats to a less comfortable setting. But it is important, and I'd ask you to take a look at the energy program I just recently signed out. I received a question from Martin Rule, who works at Naval Support Activity Bethesda, that made ties right into this month's topic. Marlon's question is, in our current operating and fiscal environment, what advice do you have for balancing and being good stewards of our people, time, and dollars? Thanks for the question, Marlon. In times where resources are this tight, it's more important than ever to manage them carefully. We simply can't continue with a business-as-usual approach, and that's why I'm articulating my priorities of readiness, stewardship, and community to keep us focused on what our core missions are and where to apply those precious resources. We've always done more with less, or the same with less, by focusing on efficiency or through innovative approaches. Those are getting harder. We'll soon reach the point where we can only do less with less, or at least do it less well. But people are our greatest resource and are, quite frankly, why our Navy is the finest ever to sail the seas. So I'm optimistic we'll continue to meet those tough challenges. And next month, our topic will be community. And a great way to support your Navy community is through the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society. The annual fund drive kicked off just this week, and this year the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society celebrates 110 years of service. Since 1904, the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society has been in partnership with the Navy and Marine Corps, providing assistance to members of the naval services when in need. It's a great charity and the only one you'll ever hear me asking you to support. March is also Women's History Month. Women became an official part of the U.S. Navy in 1908 when the Nurse Corps was established. It has taken a very long time, but women are now pursuing nearly every career field and are rising to the highest levels of leadership in the Navy. Take time this month to learn more about the contributions of those women who blazed the trails that make so much possible for women in today's Navy. As always, remember, if there's a topic you want me to discuss on the Commandant's Corner, or if you have a question, please go to navdistwash.org and let me know. And that's all for now, and I'll see you next month in the Commandant's Corner.